Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. So this talk is, I think, titled MicroProfile for Microservices. So probably, I guess, a lot of people in this room have already heard about MicroProfile. I don't know quite how much you know about it, but I hopefully will explain a little bit about that today. This is going to be my perspective as a member of the Payara team. So those of you that don't know, there are a lot of vendors of MicroProfile, and Payara is one of them. So I'm going to talk about MicroProfile in general, and then one or two bits that are more specifically about the stuff that we've been doing. So let's get straight into it. So what is MicroProfile? Can you just show of hands, like how many people are still kind of unsure? Okay, that's a reasonable number then, so that's good that you're here. So MicroProfile is, at its heart, a specification. It is separate from Java EE. It is separate from the JCP. It's not completely apart, and it's not like it knows nothing about Java EE, because it uses, at the moment, APIs from Java EE. But the aim of MicroProfile is really to be, at its heart, very, very collaborative. And that's not only collaboration between vendors and people that are involved from that perspective, but also you guys, the community, try and get you guys engaged in the things that we're doing and the things that we want to say. We also want it to be very open. So all of the stuff that we talk about is not done behind closed doors. It's not done in a place where you won't see it, because we've got things like Google Groups, and we share everything that we do very openly. So next, who is this we that I keep talking about? The people that are involved are the people on this slide. So this is really, really similar to a slide that you may have seen before if you've seen any of these sorts of talks. You can see there are some names of vendors there. We've got IBM, Tomitribe, Payara, and Red Hat, all of whom do application servers, and all have kind of come together since June to create a new, if you like, approach to doing microservices with their own platforms. But we've also got Hammock in there as well, which was a little bit of a later addition. That's why you don't see anything in our demo app, including Hammock. But I've also included Sujava and the LJC, two community efforts that are really, really heavily involved with MicroProfile, so that we can actually get the developer community helping to shape the direction of MicroProfile and where we want to go. So, why should you care? I always think this is an important slide to have on these sorts of talks. And at the end of the day, this is my opinion, but I think probably the fact that you are at this conference means that you care very much about technology, you care very much about the tools that you use, and that they actually help you solve your own problems, so that in solving your problems, you can then solve the problems of your customers. At the moment, I think the way things have been going in Java EE is good. I like the direction that Java EE is going in. But yeah, in the past, Java EE has been perhaps criticized by some people as being quite slow to adopt new things. And in part, that's by design. You know, you want to standardize on things that people are actually already using, and not just guess or make any decisions yourself. But the really key thing is that there's never really been a place for there to be some sort of new ground being pushed forward from users of Java EE. So, for example, CDI was heavily inspired by Spring, which is related to Java EE, but still quite separate. So I think really the MicroProfile for people in the audience here is a really great opportunity to help get involved and to help steer the ship of Java EE and enterprise Java in general in the direction that you want to see it going. Maybe you're really keen on reactive technologies and you think, actually, that's a really, really critically important thing that we want to get on board with early on. So that's something that you can do and you can give feedback in. So a little bit now about what we've been doing. Payara Payara was in an interesting place when the discussions around MicroProfile first started, which was actually very close to the announcement that happened back in June. So Payara already had a build called Payara Micro, which is our own approach to microservices. So really what MicroProfile has been for us has just been another cut of Payara Micro. So for those of you who don't know, Payara Micro encapsulates APIs that are normally found in the Java web profile, but also adds a couple of extras. It adds JBatch and it adds JCache, which isn't even in Java yet. I say yet because I'm really keen on it getting in there. I think it's really valuable. So MicroProfile is effectively another addition for us. And I think a really key thing to point out is that certainly at Payara, we don't see MicroProfile as a toy. We don't see it as just a proof of concept or just something to do to be looked at. We see it as something to be used, and we want to make sure that that's the message that we get out as Payara, that our MicroProfile product is a product, and it's one that we're going to support and one that we hope to work very closely with the community to push forward. I can't speak for other vendors, but from my discussions with them, I know that they all feel the same, that we're all very excited about MicroProfile, and we all are very keen on making it a real product and a real platform that you can be confident about building your apps on. And since I do have time, I just wanted to show a little bit about how our MicroProfile looks. So if you go to, I should probably actually put it on the right screen. So yeah, if you go to payara.fish/downloads, you'll see that we've got the full Payara server there. We've got Payara Micro. And we've also got Payara MicroProfile 1.0. So if we go to, not that screen, that one, this is the microprofile.io website, which I'll actually come back to that in a minute. So what I've done is I've already downloaded our MicroProfile. It just comes as a jar file, Payara MicroProfile -1.0.jar, and we use it in the same way as Payara Micro. So we have MicroProfile published on Maven so that you can just use it as part of your build process. And I'm actually in a talk tomorrow, which is more detailed about MicroProfile, where we'll demonstrate that. But I wanted to show one of the command line options. So here, in the window just below the one that I'm in, we've got a previously built part of the microservice example app. Here you can see that there are 3 outputs, and you might notice there's a swarm.jar there. So this is something that was originally built and targeted to the Wildfly Swarm implementation of the MicroProfile. So we deploy to the MicroProfile in the same way that we deploy to Payara Micro, in that we just do java -jar to the binary. Then you can do -- deploy, and then your WAR file. So if I just do that now, then you'll see it start up. Obviously, this isn't the approach that everyone likes, so we've also got the ability to output an uber jar if you call it on the command line like that. But this is just a little overview of what we do. And one thing to point out, actually, is that by default in the MicroProfile, we don't disable Hazelcast, so JCache is still there. Now, in the sample app, because that is effectively the closest thing that we have to a TCK right now, we've explicitly disabled that with the no cluster option. So Hazelcast won't start. It does add a little bit of extra startup time as well. But we've left it there in the MicroProfile because really it's our view on the direction of MicroProfile, and it's something that we think is going to be very valuable. in creating a microservices fabric. So it's something that we want to push quite a lot. We don't want to enforce it on the community, so what we're trying to do is just convince you of its merits so that you can then vote for it and get involved with the process to get things moved on. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing. Next, how you can get involved is in a few different ways. So there's microprofile.io that I've just shown you. There's the Google group, which I'll show you as well. If you go to the microprofile.io webpage, you can see that there is a link in the top right corner called Join Us. And that will take you to the Google group, which I've actually already got loaded here. So I don't trust the network, it's not behaving today. So there you'll see all of our discussions, and that is literally all of them. We don't have any other behind closed doors discussions. But something that's quite important, I think, is this one. Heiko from Red Hat has been doing a lot of work on the process to evolve the microprofile. And I think somewhere in this thread there is a Google Doc of the meeting that was had. So all of the notes are there in public. The call details were there, so you could join it yourself if you wanted to. But yeah, do please get involved, have a look at the Google group, see what conversations are going on, and do take part in them yourselves, because we really want to hear your input. So other things that you can do is with that evolution process, you can submit your own proposals of what you think should be in there. Maybe you're really concerned about configuration and having a standard between different servers. It'd be really nice to be able to set the port in exactly the same way. So Payara micro at the moment, you set the port with -- port. For Wildfly Swarm, you would do -d, I think, swarm.http.port. So maybe there are things around there that you're concerned about. Do please submit proposals or vote on and be active in the proposals that we've got already. And lastly, we have a BOF discussion session today at 8 p.m. in BOF 2, so please come along with any questions that you've got, because my time has just about run out. The other thing that I'll say as well is if you do come to the BOF, I've got a few more T-shirts like these and quite a few stickers that if you're into kind of customizing your laptop. So do please come along or see the talk tomorrow. Thanks.